Speaking of Athena, though, we haven't really seen Athena much this whole event. Why is that, you thinking, Con?
It's one of those things right now where healing is so in the meta for support, which is why we see the Sylvanas and the Terra bans and all these opportunities. It's so very powerful in that lane. You get to the team fight, you just do some poke, you back off, and you're all good. I would like to see it, though, in the jungle role. Like I said, we've seen we can play it in the past. They have the ALG Athena skin now. I want to see him bring out some sort of Guardian in the jungle. Let him be the front line, because somebody like PolarBearMike on the Sylvanas, when he's trying to be front line, they're picking him off every single time.
Yeah, it was very clear that every single time PBM moved in to try and engage and make something happen, they were like, nope. It was like bursted out. He had just no chance. And you could almost see the frustration there in their play, right? Looking for opportunities. Even Weekend just couldn't find those spots to engage where he wanted to. Even more so, he was so far behind as well in the game. And we talked a little bit about that as well. Why is that? Like, obviously, he was just getting outplayed for a good portion of that game. But what does he do, even if he switches up to that Guardian role, so to speak, with the Athena?
Weekend focuses so much on ganking. It's one of the things that he does the best. He's always looking, you know, there's always the joke, Weekend camp solo, and it's true, he looks for the ganks in solo, he looks for the ganks in mid, but that often puts him behind in the farm department. He's not always doing the bat cams when they're up or going over to do the red buff. He often gives the red buff XP, you know, Oceans, just do it by yourself. Make sure you get that XP by yourself, which puts other people ahead, but it's going to put him very far behind. And against somebody like Adapting, who's arguably the best single jungle farmer in the entire game, it's really going to accentuate that lead. And I think at one point we saw it was 5 levels.
Yeah, it was a 20 to 15. It was like kind of absurd.
I think at this point, honestly, you made a joke about, you know, we can always camp solo, but I think with CycloneSpin, they should go back to that old season 2, you know, AFK strategy of just camp the solo lane, and Athena would be a good option, especially if we see another like Bologna-Nike matchup, you know. We also saw a little bit of a disparity in the levels between iRaffer and PolarBearMike as well. Sylvanas had a little bit of a level lead, but it doesn't matter now because we're going to head into game number 2. Let's see what Allegiance does to adapt.
Once again, we have the Raw ban coming out. Very popular ban this tournament. We see nobody wanting to mess with, as well as the Terra. It is the get the healing off the board meta.
Why don't you think that Allegiance leave the Raw available for themselves? I know Stealth likes a lot of bit more of these weirder picks, right?
Stealth likes, it's interesting that he doesn't like Raw so much. It's just not a character that he's not comfortable with it. He doesn't like playing it in the competitive scene as much. He wants to look towards these gods like Scylla, Thoth, Nox. You know, he has these very standard god pool of like the MLC god pool. It's not anybody else's, it's his and it's unique.
You can't forget the Kukulkan as well, that one time when Mercury onto Weekend as well set him up for a nice double kill. But Chronos being locked in for Team Allegiance first. Do you expect this to be a flex pick, or do you think that this is definitely going to Oceans? Because I can't remember the last time I saw Stealth playing Chronos.
I can't even tell you if Stealth has ever played Chronos, to be honest. I can't imagine this wouldn't be going to Oceans. It's just not a very MLC god.
What about CycloneSpin playing Chronos maybe down the road as well?
Honestly, I don't hate the idea of just putting Cyclone onto a carry and let Cyclone be Cyclone.
And we're going to see Nike and Janus on the board for NRG. We saw what Dimi was able to do with the Nike. He didn't have a very flashy game on the Nike, but he did his job.
I still think this could be a flex pick for them. Last time we saw that pick coming out a little bit earlier, and then they picked Bologna into the solo lane. Bologna has no ability to interrupt the Nike anyway, so all of a sudden it was a very free pick for them to put over in the solo. But this is something that they could, if the interrupt comes, they could throw it back into the support role.
Surprisingly enough, Allegiance going for the Nemesis for a Weekend, but against the Janus through his portals, wouldn't you expect maybe a Hunbat or a Susanoo to follow him through those portals?
Your face is
I would expect a lot of picks here, but this Nemesis pick, it just makes me laugh because Allied used to make fun of Weekend all the time. You know, hey Weekend, do you want, you know, let's play something like a Thor about a Tasker, and Weekend goes, pick me Nemesis. Nemesis, please. It's an interesting pick. We haven't seen so much success with it yet. As long as NRG doesn't pick up a character like Geb, who is so strong against the Nemesis, as long as he's not the one getting ultied by, I think they're going to be fine.
I like this Khepri pick from Allegiance as well. Whenever we see PolarBearMike playing the Geb, he did a good job yesterday with it. And we saw Panda-like in his set against Soar doing wonders with this god. So more of a defensive option. It's also going to keep Oceans alive if he's the one that's going to be playing this Chronos. But Soul being locked in for NRG, and surprisingly enough, Camazotz being taken off the table. It seems that NRG are a little bit worried about maybe this double assassin combination for ALG.
Yeah, Camazot's one of those bands that probably something that they're not super particularly worried about anything right now. So they're like, what's a really niche pick that could just maybe throw us off our game? We're not used to playing against it. He's still fairly new. Just get him off the table. They saw Divios play him earlier. ALG and Eager have been scrimming a lot. Maybe Cyclone had it in his God pool as well.
Well, to be fair, Variety played it really well in that last set, and with the scrim partners between NRG and Obey, they know the true potential of the Camazot, so maybe there's some sort of weakness there that didn't want to get exploited. With this double jungle between Circuit and Ao Kwong being banned away, it seems that Kumbhakarna is being hovered over for now.
This entire NRG team comp right now is extremely strong. The draft from Allegiance is definitely a lot more of a niche strat. You can see them focusing into a particular idea compared to NRG right now is just picking up very strong base gods. And we talked about that Geb could be a problem for the Nemesis pick. I'm surprised that we didn't see Allegiance ban it out.
It's going to be very difficult now for Weekend to really find a target that he wants to commit and all in against, especially with the Geb shield, with the Janus mobility that he'll provide for the rest of his team. Allegiance might have to try to find ways to isolate targets, but Nox being locked in for Stealth.
I really like Stealth Nox. I think he is by far the best Nox player in the world, but I do not like Nox picks into Geb because Geb can shield your combo every time, so the enemy does not have to waste their beads.
Well, what if you just combo the Geb?
You can combo the Geb, that you can do.
Maybe that's going to be the goal of Allegiance, just try to shut down iRaffer as quickly as possible and find some kills. And now there's also some sustain with the Guan Yu, but Thanatos! Oh, this is going to get spicy and
That Thanatos pick is actually not even quite as spicy as you would think. They have a Khepri on the opposing team. Thanatos' execute goes through Khepri, making it absolutely useless.
I'm excited to see where these guys are going to end up, honestly.
Yeah, that was an interesting draft. So takeaways here is that they're going for something very specific. Let's see if this pans out. Predictions, quick.
NRG.
I like the ALG strat, but I think the NRG counterpicked him.
All right, guys. Well, could NRG be moving on? Let's see. We have plenty more action coming up. So for right now, we're going to send it over to your commentators. Take it away.
Thanks so much, Golden Boy and the analysts once again. Obviously, we see the Thanatos against the Khepri, but I see a Guan Yu there that can help sustain back up under the execute threshold.
Oh yeah, but I think it's more the Geb pick is so strong coming out from NRG. It counters the Khepri, it counters the Nox. I have no idea why Allegiance wanted the Nox. Geb is a huge counter.
Well, I mean, Stealth's God, right? I mean, Nox is Stealth's God.
Sure, it is, but Nox here just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, because usually when Stealth's playing Nox, it's with an Erlong Shen, it's with a Thor, you know, something that he has easy long-range setup. It's only the long-range route from Khepri that's your easy setup from a distance here.
Yeah, and I mean, even though he's really good at Nox, he's still against counters, which is just going to be horrible for him.
Plus, we saw yesterday Anister playing Nemesis into Jeff Hindley's Geb. He had a tough time because you get Nemesis ulted and then Geb shield right away. And iRaffer, we know, on point with those Geb shields. So as long as he's saving those for the Nemesis ults or the Nox combo, it's going to be difficult to kill any of the carries.
Well, start of the game, the wards placed down only by Allegiance so far, and both sides of the map just to keep around the mid-harpies on both sides. And it looks like NRG not going to save and not use any wards because mainly they've all invested in boots again.
But also we see the Hawk coming out of the support and not the solo lane. That's a little bit usual. So I think the Geb might, as we also see he's already in the right lane, he might go with the solo lane now and look for some sort of invade.
We've seen a lot of that, exactly. And you're right, it is a little curious to see Dimi go for the teleport here in this matchup because we saw him go for it. We saw him go for the Wrath in the last game. And talking about the solo lane matchup, I'll hold that thought.
There we go. Dimi going to walk up and PolarBearMike and Weekend going to walk back. But they've got support Cyclone here on the Guan Yu as well. But the focus on PolarBearMike is good right now. The combos of Wrath after Wrath. And it's Cyclone who takes out adapting. But Dimi gets PolarBearMike. And Dimi's trying to run. Wrath is trying to block some shots. But now he's in trouble too.
But I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him here. He's actually locked himself into this hole because Weekend had the Teleria boots as well. Tallow Assault going to be able to pick him up 2-for-1 in favor of Allegiance.
Do not fight without a shell. The enemy team had a shell on the support and they did not. Fighting a 3v3 early game with that shell is going to be good. Did huge things for Allegiance.
And I love the adaptation by Weekend and the rest of Allegiance. You can see he recognized what NRG did last time, forgoes Bumba's mask, picks up those Talaria boots right away, and that's the reason why you saw him able to actually keep up with iRaffer, who had those tank boots already online. The same thing for PolarBearMike. PolarBearMike picking up Talaria.
That's all about adaptation in the SWC. The Smite World Championships, every single year, there's a meta that develops, and the meta this year is everybody buys full boots.
I also like the PolarBearMike actually picked up an EU guard, an EU support, which is the Khepri. But adapting plays everything, man. You banned out Kwang, but he still picks the Thanatos to counter it.
I was saying, man, if they didn't ban out Kwang into this composition, it would have been perfect. We know how good adapting Zhao Kwang can be, and I like the ban, but like you mentioned, he plays everything, picking up this Thanatos. What I wanted to talk about before the invade there was this solo lane matchup, Nike versus Guan Yu. I think that this is definitely heavily in Guan Yu's favor, because no way to interrupt the Rend, yes, but you could heal in between Rend strikes, just like you saw right there. Plus, Dimi doesn't really have an easy way to interrupt your Talu Assault without committing his jump. I really like this matchup for Guan Yu. It takes his bad laning phase and makes it okay enough to get him towards those later stages where that heal can become very effective.
Well, Allegiance now have a nice start to the game, but they had that last game as well, Tricksank. I think the difference is, though, the composition's a little bit different than from NRG this time round.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. To be honest, I don't like the combo specifically. I think if NRG goes to late game, they will have this because of the gap and because of the Nike front line. That combo is going to be really good against them, and the Nux is going to be really useless late game.
Well, Dimi doing a good trade-off there overall with Cyclone. I expect Cyclone to get the better of that, but good use of abilities.
And that's just using the kit there as you will. Dimi using those cleaves, not even an ability, but the auto attack cleaves. It'll be interesting to see how that matchup goes because of that teleport that Dimi has picked up. He's able to trade a little bit more frequently because he has that ability to get back to lane very quickly, whereas CycloneSpin has gone for the Wrath.
Also, the Guan Yu pick is so great against the Thanatos. I'm also looking for Allegiance picking up on a meditation, because whenever he's in the air and you're in executioner range, you can use the meditation, use the Guan Yu heal, and then survive
Oh,
it.
here we go. A bit more engagement going on in this Dimi, using a will to hurt there, forced to leap away, trying to hold his ultimate, but forced to use it as well. Small wins for Allegiance.
Love the rotation there from PolarBearMike, really using that Talaria boots pickup right away, using that extra movement speed that you get out of combat, and just the additional movement speed for finishing off your boots at level 1, able to get to the solo lane very quickly.
And we're 3 minutes in right now.
Oh, there's a big ultimate coming out early on from emilitoo. Going to force a rewind out of Oceans as well. And space inside from Yammyn. Choo-choo, the boys of energy are coming, but Oceans is already past the station.
Great backstep there from Oceans. I don't think it would have mattered, but it looks cool, you know? Just
does.
The Barra backstep.
Just in case. Is that what it's called now, the Barra backstep?
Yeah, do you have one, Tricks? Every pro says they have their own little juke move.
I guess.
You have the hog invade on your own.
You got the Blink Hog.
Right, Blink
Yeah.
Hog.
Yep.
Sadly, you can't do that anymore.
Feels bad.
Bad days.
Oh well, 2-1 though still for Allegiance, and that gank attempt, it was a nice idea from NRG, but it didn't really come to anything.
Yeah, and this is what Ocean's got to look out for. They have the Janus, so he can't go over aggressively on emilitoo. So if he does that the next time, I think they will get the kill on him.
Very, very important to just keep an eye on that, because the main thing is, hang on a second, mid lane. Yammyn's in a bit of trouble there, but he's going to use the purification wisely. Good play from Stealth to realize that he could get that.
Very aggressive in that MLC Cell saying, I don't even need setup, man. I'll make my own setup. It actually body blocks Yammyn into the second ability so that you can force him to get silenced out and then guarantee the root.
It was also because Yammyn's ult was on cooldown from just being used too, so a little bit more tricky adapting. Going to get under pressure here by Stealth with a nice combo there. The blue buff stolen by Allegiance. Small wins.
MLC playing so aggressive now right now and hitting every single spell. I love the aggressiveness coming out for Allegiance, trying to build more of an early lead and maybe be able to snowball a little bit better than last game.
Well, now emilitoo and Ocean's going to continue trading this lane, but because mid lane has been pushed in here, NRG can look for an early Gold Fury potentially with the damage coming out here and a Wrath available for them. If nobody gets here soon, it's going to go the way of the world champs.
And that's exactly what you expect from NRG. They're not only are they great mechanically, but they're great as far as strategy goes, team composition, recognizing that small opening, very enemy-esque from Season 2.
And all this Tricks, when I'm looking at it as well, is now we're back to even again. All the work Allegiance has just done to get themselves a lead has been cancelled out by this Gold Fury.
Exactly. NRG is so good at looking at the opening thing. How are we going to build a lead? Oh, they don't have any water around the goal through. emilitoo does have the pressure, so he's calling that. I have the pressure, we can potentially do a goal through, and that's what they did.
And it's great timing because there's no buffs up on the right-hand side for Allegiance to take away. We saw in a game yesterday, I believe it was the Xbox semifinals, that Sword did a Gold Fury early on, but lost their entire right side jungle because of it. This time, NRG able to time it perfectly. Nothing for Allegiance to respond with.
And those kills at the start of the game that Allegiance did get, it was before minions had spawned, but they didn't really invade the jungle too much off of that. So those deaths that we saw NRG falter with, they never really got punished too heavily. So that's why you can see the levels are relatively equal, and Adapting's actually ahead of experience of Weekend yet again.
Exactly. Energy is looking more equal again with Allegiance, and I think now that Allegiance is playing so aggressive, they have to be a little bit more careful with it because Energy will respond now.
And we didn't even talk about the fact that CycloneSpin got both of those kills in that early engagement, and his net worth is only slightly above that of Dimi, only 300 gold. So that tells you how well Dimi has been farming ever since they've recovered from that early first
And take into account that 300 gold deficit there as well. That was generally the blue buff on the right-hand side that was taken from him. He didn't get any of that as well, so his lack of regen there. But for now, no buffs available for a second or two longer. Obviously, Energy side of the jungle going to spawn a little bit ahead of Allegiance.
And normally when we talk about Thanatos, it's, well, we're 6 minutes in and we haven't seen a kill for Adapting. Thanatos not really working out. But as Lich proved to us on day one, you're going to be able to use that Thanatos effectively.
Raffer forced to shield himself, and Weekend's going to ult him, and in response, Cataclysm from Raffer. PolarBearMike, though, surrounded there by Adapting and Yammyn. The ult from Stealth comes out to try and slow them down. Yammyn having to deal with Weekend, but in the sky is Adapting, and he's looking for the bug.
Nowhere to go for PolarBearMike. Couldn't get the ultimate off. Emil able to pick up the kill. The double kill for the Hunter for NRG, and that's a good sign for Emil.
I have no idea why Allegiance put everything into the support. Geb is so safe to play in the early game. You can't collapse him. His whole team was around, so they had no reason to go for him.
Cavalry charge coming out here. CycloneSpin trying to force the issue onto Yammyn. The body blocks. He gets through the ball. The blue stone will not be enough to tick him down to low health. Great little play from Cyclone, but not good enough.
If CycloneSpin went for the Thanatos there, he had no mobility, so he could have actually maybe killed Adapting there if he just went for him.
Possibly, yeah. But I love the Wrath play from CycloneSpin to keep Yammyn locked in place just long enough to almost kill him.
Well, Adapting's almost going to die here as well. He's running for his life right now. Dimi can't stop Cyclone getting in range, but Cyclone turns round.
Just not enough. He was all on cooldown. No, he used the dash. The dash wasn't in range, and Adapting had picked up that speed buff, so there's no way that Cyclone's will be able to catch him.
Well, blue buff will be still on the right-hand side by the looks of it. Then no, I'm still alive. Dimi secures his own blue. Good defensive job from him at 8 minutes in. 3-2. Small lead for Energy at this stage.
And that's unbelievable that NRG's this far in the experience lead, having given up a double kill early on. And like you mentioned, they didn't lose any buffs because of it, and that's why you see them being so close together.
And Thanatos getting first blooded, he is still ahead of Weekend as well now.
That's what you expect. I mean, the way Weekend plays, it is he does it intentionally. I know that many people probably think he doesn't, but he intentionally misses mid waves to allow MLC Stealth to get that golden experience necessary to be the carry for the team. But whenever you don't have that jungle pressure, it hurts you a lot. And you can see the fruits of that in the last few games for
But not only the jungle pressure, also the mid pressure. You're going to be able to rotate to any side of the lane you can because MLC will not follow, so they can easily get the out rotate on him.
Well, just keep an eye here onto that duo lane as we tune in with it, because these two have been left alone for the majority of the game, meaning they're going to get more experience than they're probably used to, or well, they're used to in this meta now. And this fighting between the two could be huge, as once again, Oceans just manages to hold on to his ultimate.
Oceans might be behind here, but it's not only the reason why emilitoo is winning. emilitoo is so comfortable in this matchup. He's tried it so many times for a fact against Fumble as well, and he really knows this matchup, and he can win it.
Yeah, Soul is definitely one of ML's most comfortable gods, and but I like the patience there and the trust in Oceans, understanding exactly how much damage he's going to take from that Soul ultimate, saving not only his ultimate, but his Sanctuary as well.
Well, that's a big power spike there for emilitoo as well, because he just got his second relic online. Now, obviously, power spikes, we normally talk about items, but these relics will help you live longer to deal out more damage.
Absolutely. Definitely going to see something get forced on the left-hand side here.
Oh, Adapting not going to get hit by that root from Stealth, but Raffer will, that's okay. The Gold Fury has respawned again. The last one was cheekily snuck from NRG with an opportune moment.
NRG is slightly getting into this game again, and if Allegiance want to take this lead, they have to start fighting in the jungle, look for the picks, possibly on the Gep, otherwise he can just Gep shield them and get out of the combo.
CycloneSpin wrapping around the back here, may find Adapting and Raffer. Raffer didn't notice this, but he's going to Cataclysm to avoid some damage. Space and time through from Yammyn. Escape portals are available, but now if we can wrap him around the back, they look for Adapting. Shield comes out. Yammyn actually got hit big hit there by the ultimate from Stealth that wasn't even meant for him.
Not quite, but now Dimi's in a ton of trouble. Locked in place, Weekend able to pick up the kill. Allegiance evens the kill number.
That was like lambs to the slaughter tricks. Like, what happened to NRG there?
This time, NRG just way too overforced. They definitely called for the fight, so iRaffer went in. Meanwhile, they were zoned by MLCs too, so they couldn't really get into the fight, so they just lost it.
And this is a bad time for NRG to lose a fight because the Gold Fury is up. CycloneSpin has a wrath.
Trying to slow them down here with emilitoo just juking in and out. Adapting's back here with Yammyn now on his way as well. Gold Fury's still low and still being leashed. The silence is good on the Gold Fury, but meanwhile, CycloneSpin will be a casualty for Allegiance to get the Gold Fury. NRG want more, but I don't think they're gonna find it.
Trying to do their red buff now afterwards. I'm just so confused all weekend, taking a ton of damage from that death sight. Not going to be able to do anything else. Chasing him off the back camps, really. But the decision-making there from Cyclone, very odd. Because, sure, usually you're the solo laner, you're on zone duty,
You've been
right?
there. What's happened?
As long as Allegiance as long as NRG is not going to get any towers, it's fine giving one guy up. So Cyclone just zoning them so to make sure they're not going to be able to get the goal free is just fine.
But he's the man with the wrath. He doesn't need to zone. They don't need to zone them at all. They don't have enough burst to confirm it over top of the 1250 wrath, and then you can just back up and run away. Instead, they rely on the burst on the backside while Cyclone zones. I felt like they could have gotten out scot.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't see he had his wrath up, so the better call would probably have just been all commit on the goal free, just take it down and basically huck it.
Anyway, 1-0, Gold Fury, Allegiance. That's the key here between the two. The gold is relatively even once more thanks to that little skirmish in the jungle. The experience, though, still NRG's favor.
But what I wanted to talk about earlier was that Thanatos, when we're used to talking about him, it's, well, the early game hasn't gone perfectly, so he's going to fall off. But with the late game executes, that's going to be so important. We saw the solo laner for Lich do it time and time again, just looking for the frontliners only. Just get them to 40%. Once Thanatos maxes out that ultimate, you can execute someone from 40%. And like you said, Trix, that Khepri ultimate is going to be completely useless.
Well, at the moment, it looks like Allegiance and NRG are happy to skirmish in the jungle space and time. Only hits onto PolarBearMike, but didn't do as much damage as they would have liked there from NRG. And it seems to be that they're trying to isolate Oceans on the left-hand side here, because emilitoo, he's having a whale of a time, it seems.
He's just having fun over here, man, peppering him with these ultimates. Now Adapting has made the rotation as well, and I like the build coming out from PolarBearMike here. You recognize that he's been the focus, going immediately for this Hide of the Urchin, but it is a risk, Trix. I mean, if you don't get those stacks, it's not a
He's adapting, but PolarBearMike is here too, but so are 4 members of NRG total. With the silence from Stealth, it'll force a reset for now.
NRG is putting so much pressure onto Allegiance. They're having their tongue out right now because they're going back and forth between mid and dual lane, and they can't really do anything about it right now because it seems like they have the stronger jungle fight.
And look, the ward coverage is not there for NRG either. There's really no wards from either team. It's only that bottom left-hand side warded by Allegiance, so they don't have enough information to really tell if they're committing to the left side or just hanging in the jungle.
Allegiance is going to start doing the same thing as NRG is doing. They got to group up in the jungle, go around the jungle, look for any guys on the NRG side and look for the picks because they have the combo, the good CC combo with MLC Stealth and PolarBearMike.
It doesn't seem, though, that NRG are actually looking for picks, though. It looks like they're trying to make sure that emilitoo can try to keep poking this tower down on the left-hand side. He's winning the matchup against Oceans, so why not just continue letting him do that if you can?
They are for sure looking for a pick, NRG, but on the same time, they are looking on picks on the left side to make sure that emilitoo is safe.
Creating,
so push the tower down.
Creating space. They're
Exactly.
boxing Allegiance out, basically,
But
from this
right
left-hand
now,
lane.
NRG know the red buff is up for Allegiance, so they got it last time after the Gold Fury, so they're looking to invade now. Yammyn in the back, Stealth on his way with Weekend, looking to support and defend this red buff, but the red buff is already on the floor, and they're not going to get it this time round. Allegiance, NRG steal it away.
And that thanks to the wrath from Rather there. Wrath from iRaffer. That's a tongue twister.
Well, there's a stun twister for Adapting right now, who's dunked below half health already. Forced to fall back to safety. Yammyn still in mid lane there. Is it Janus after all? Allegiance pushing on in the jungle a little bit more here.
Weekend still looking for Adapting so low. Still has his ultimate available. We haven't really seen a whole lot of Nemesis ults, and here could be one onto Yammyn. Not going to use it still, being very patient with it.
And this game starts looking like the other game we just saw. Allegiant having a fine early game, NRG coming back, and emilitoo just destroying everybody.
And you can see there, the second relic picked up by Weekend. He's got us under.
And I was going to say,
Shout
I'm
out
a
to
little
his teammate.
surprised that he didn't actually go with the Sunder there on Yammyn, who was in a bit of an awkward spot. Talk about awkward spots, emilitoo is right now.
But I love the use of Supernova to use it as CC immunity for the abduct from PolarBearMike. Hot heads up play there from ML.
And now we can turn it back around a little bit. But PolarBearMike and Ocean still hanging around in this lane. And emilitoo wants a bit of Ocean's here. And he's looking for it. And Yammyn from the mid lane. You want to talk about snipes? That was a snipe and a half.
Nowhere to go now for PolarBearMike. Rez, who cares? Yammyn picks up the long-range double kill. You know emilitoo's mad that his mid laner just stole his kill.
Allegiant's doing it right there. They're like, we're fine, we're 2v1, we can do this. And emilitoo just going in, and then in comes the Janus all perfect onto the Chronos, sorry.
And now they get a tier 2 tower on the left-hand side as well. Meanwhile, Allegiant's trying to answer back with a tier 1 in mid, but Dimi will teleport to mid lane, and now we may see a little bit more of an awkward spot for Allegiance.
We can finally ult Yammyn, but it doesn't even matter. The Geb shield perfectly timed from iRaffer. Now MLC Stealth using that ultimate.
Adapted's in trouble there. The dot damage is hitting him, but he will be able to get back to safety for now. And now Dimi, last to leave.
Now they did force MLC's, both of his active, so he's going to be really squishy now.
CycloneSpin around the back, makes the rotation. Dimi forced to jump over the Talu Assault. With Cyclone here, Weekend's gonna get healed up. Gold Fury's available, and Cyclone does have that Wrath.
Tempo's really picked up all of a sudden, Tricks, and is that just down to that one little fight in the left?
This is down to emilitoo starting to be in the fight.
Now on the Gold Fury side, PolarBearMike getting the counter ward. Weekend absorbing a lot of damage with that shield, but taking just as much thanks to the Ren from Dimi.
Just keep an eye on the triangles on the right and left of your screen there for the ultimates that are available. Quite a few are still on cooldown from both teams here, but big ultimates are still there, and there's one from CycloneSpin. The cavalry charge for zone. Focus on iRaffer is the call here, and iRaffer's already dead. Stealth gets the kill, but Cyclone is running for his life with the Khepri ultimate, adapting through the portal around the back. The ult pops from Khepri, and back alive is Cyclone.
Cyclone's still alive, but emilitoo doesn't want to let him go. Ocean's on the meanwhile takes out adapting on the backside.
And now Oceans are going to fight too, but meanwhile emilitoo, he's going to go down as well. The roar from the North American crowd is here as Dimi is running for his life. So Dimi's looking to clean up Oceans, who stuck around too long. And it's now Yammyn and Dimi to try and escape.
Yammyn completely out of mana though. Gold Fury being looked at right now by Allegiance. Wrath still up for CycloneSpin. Yammyn doesn't want to let it go.
Oh, he got Ruin in place there to Yammyn, but they're going to have to give this one up now. Gold Fury to Allegiance.
Overall way to split fight by NRG right there. They let the backline leave alone. The Chronos rewinded and got into the backline. This killed the adapting right there. And the fight just, emilitoo went in the front line as well, and it just got completely weird for them.
And that play that we saw coming out from Oceans there, Agro, that was very similar to what emilitoo just did on Chronos the game before. Going to the back line, forcing out some ults, and then finding the picks.
Splitting off from the rest of the team fight and trying to isolate one target, because in the late game, Chronos kind of plays like an assassin. He just comes at you, swinging his little staff there, and you got nowhere to go.
But that is sort of like Soul. You can just free in and start brawling everybody. It's sort of like Chronos, to be honest.
Very, very similar indeed. Well, Allegiance do close the gap a little bit there, but there is still a gap in favor of energy.
But the big thing there was MLC Stealth laying down that silence underneath iRaffer, who was looking to find the Cataclysm in the middle of everyone, but he just got exploded at the exact moment that he was looking for it. CC chain there was flawless from Allegiance.
3 members of energy are in mid lane now, trying to siege this one down with the support of Soul. 3-on-3 there, as we've got a 2-on-2 on the right hand side, and Weekend's had enough. He wants adapting, and adapting's in a lot of trouble here. Cyclone gets the kill. The ult from energy though, they're on the way, boys.
CycloneSpin slowed down, sprint pops, emilitoo's here, drops the Supernova, but not able to find it. Knocks ultimate off the mark from Stealth. Dimi has to jump away.
And Dimi's going to try and run back now, but going to get rooted in place as well. Can absorb a lot of damage to that unstable Vortex hit Weaken, but don't forget, CycloneSpin's playing Guan Yu, and the healing comes into play.
NRG have to start respecting Allegiance. They still have a lot of damage online. They can still get picks, and they can still one-shot people because they have the Nemesis Nemesis and the Sunder.
But now it's Allegiance. They're going to go aggressive here, and CycloneSpin's taking the brunt of the tower damage for the time being. Big heal from him and a meditation too, and they will pick up Dimi as well.
Just so much HP for CycloneSpin. He's putting out so much healing this fight alone. The meditation was on point from PolarBearMike as well. Look at that, 13,000 player healing.
And it's basically CycloneSpin is carrying them right now. The heals is so good, the engages are so good from him. That's also why they won the Go Fury fight. He's doing a great job right now just keeping everybody alive.
Meanwhile, Oceans has continued farming mid lane, taking that tier 1 tower as this has all been going on. Now he's rotating over to join the whole team of Allegiance. We may see a 5-on-5 shortly.
And there's no way to really deal with this healing. They don't have enough anti-heal right now. CycloneSpin dashing in, immediate Nemesis ult onto iRaffer. He's taking a ton of damage
He's
through
still
phase of
alive
time.
right now as Adapting comes through the portal. He's going to take to the sky just in time to get away. Will he come back down is the question. He's looking at stealth.
Executed, there he goes. MLC Stealth falls to Adapting. Is he going to get out as
I
well?
don't know. Cyclone's trying to support him. The shield from Ruff is good. The stun is there from Cyclone. The root is there from Mike. And finally, they'll pick up the king of the jungle. But PolarBearMike and Allegiance are in a bit of trouble here.
CycloneSpin doing it all for Allegiance. Big unstable vortex claps Oceans for a ton of his HP, but Dimi just trying to zone away the rest of the tide of Allegiance, looking for the jump over the blue buff wall. He can't find it, he's stuck.
He's waiting for a portal, and Yammyn will get him out of the danger zone there.
If emilitoo had more mana there, they could actually have turned because everybody faced Dimi in the end. If he got a good jump and emilitoo was there with mana, they could have had such a good fight.
Allegiance still want to go in here, and they're looking for Dimi, but they're not going to be able to find him as he leaps back to safety. Trying to force it a little bit more, but Mike's low on mana here too, and the core seems to be disengaged.
One of the reasons you see that disengage is because that Obsidian Shard is not quite finished yet for Oceans on the Chronos. Not a whole lot of tower push available. I like the decision from Allegiance. We won the fight, let's back up and reset. And you called it, Trix. I mean, CycloneSpin is doing everything for this team right now.
5, 1, and 4 on CycloneSpin, and you can see the goal difference between the two teams now. I think this is the first time Allegiance have actually had the lead in the game.
And that's ever since that double kill for Cyclone in the early game. And that's, like I mentioned, giving him this matchup that is easy in lane for him to survive. It's not that dangerous lane matchup that a lot of teams will pick for Guan Yu. And he's able to get towards his later game stages. And like I mentioned as well, just not enough anti-heal on the side of NRG. We finally see a second Pestilence being completed, but no Brawlers, no Divine Ruin.
Right, the anti-healing is really low, but the reason why I think NRG is having a hard time dealing with Guan Yu as well is because they didn't expect Allegiance to pick it. No one from NA is picking this guard, and I don't think they practiced it either against Obey. It was mostly us playing it against them, so I think that's the reason why they're having a hard time dealing with it.
Well, we'll see what they're going to have to try and do to adapt to this as the game goes on as well, because right now, it is the Cyclone show. The rest of the team seem to be working around him, and it's one of the things Allegiance do have. They have a triple threat composition here. You've got CycloneSpin, you've got MLC Stealth, the cannon, and then you've got Oceans as well.
And MLC Stealth had a quietly very good game. That it doesn't show in the damage numbers, but it's about laying down that silence at the right time, using it as kind of a support character almost in the mid lane.
Well,
I am surprised how MLC is actually getting his silences off right now, because if they just group up and have the Nike in the front line, they will easily go through MLC Stealth.
Gold Fury has been pulled, space and time not used just yet by Yammyn, but let's listen in to ALG's communications.
Back to slow. I'm gonna get in here. Phone Janus. I'm inside easy. I'm really low. I'm really low. Alright, yeah. Gab. Yeah. Gibbs. Oh, fuck. I need help. I don't have anything for you. You're okay. Let's run. I'll be back soon. We're just diving. Stealth in trouble. I'll be back soon. Okay, they're gonna go to gold. Yeah. I'm going back. Wait, can we get that advantage? We can maybe give it up and just go to fire. I'm still healthy. Go to fire. Okay. Janus is mid. I'm up to 7. They're rolling. They're going gold. I'm coming. I'm doing a minute. I'm still healthy. I'm still healthy. Gets half and his shield's down. It's not even half. It's half now. Talk to each other. It's full right now. I'm gonna get him. I'm down here. Nice. You guys are deep. Fire. Actually, right now they're gonna ult in. We can do it. Let's go.
How long to mid?
30. I'm pushing mid way. I need the next seal for sure.
Tens on speed.
You go there.
What a great listening that was from Allegiance, and now they've got a boon in them because they're looking at adapting to. They pick up the Gold Fury. Energy was sloppy.
Weekend not the problem this game. I can tell you that much. Making the plays there, calling the target on the iRaffer, and then stealing away the Gold Fury with a dash. Unbelievable play by him.
Cyclone going in on Yammyn, but adapting going to silence out the Tallow Assault. Weekend though, looking towards emilitoo. The ultimate does connect, but the Sanctuary and the use, I believe, was there to save him.
Didn't even need the Sanctuary, just that immune from Disapparate.
Just came into account the Disapparate, but the Fire Giant still being done right now. CycloneSpin can continue to heal the team. Energy, though, patiently waiting on the outskirts.
Just waiting for them to take a lot of damage. And CycloneSpin's a target, but a great immune from PolarBearMike. Meditation, heal, but Weekend gets executed.
And next on the list, it could be Cyclone, but Cyclone's taking to the front line of the Storm. He needs more support from his boys, though. Gonna dash back to the safety of his team. emilitoo and iRaffer are both on their last legs. The shotgun from Yammyn's unstable Vortex just shredded the backline for a second. And Energy, they're not done.
MLC Stealth doing so much damage now. Can't find the combo onto Dimi. Taking a big damage is emilitoo. Stealth is in CycloneSpin. Cyclone falls. Stealth pops out. He
And
falls
still,
as well.
Energy are marching on. They want more out of this. Yammyn's gonna get pulled. Yammyn's nearly dead, but he'll stand. Adapting though. Ring around the roses. Oceans is the poses.
Everybody from Energy just stayed with like 5% HP, not because they could do anything, but just to show presence and for the gap shield and stuff. They played so well, Energy. Holy dang.
Just playing together
Holy
like
damn.
yeah, whatever that means, I guess.
That was the politest comms we have ever heard out of you at that moment.
Right, I've got to be polite.
Very much so.
Fire Giant again though for Energy this time round. They're trying to make sure they can get it before the respawns of Allegiance come through. Mike's trying to slow them down best he can, and Weekend #1's on his way. He's going to adapt him right now, but a shield is going to force him to double dash back to safety. Fire Giant still being done, but finally Energy pick it up.
Yeah, Allegiance it wasn't possible for them contesting the Fire Giant here. And Dimi in this game is doing so much work for NRG. He's up in the front line all the time. Even when NRG is disengaging, he's staying in the front line. He's doing such a good job right now, holding Allegiance under control.
And I can't believe that NRG were able to win that fight after MLC Stealth finds a huge Siphon Darkness, hits 3 or 4 people. iRaffer's all of a sudden 1 HP. No one knew that it was laid right underneath them. And then he finds another one onto emilitoo. Stealth did a ton of damage there without even finding a 2-1 combo.
But that was because of Dimi, basically because he was standing up there, keep poking the squishies, and just stayed there for the whole fight.
Well, the other thing about Energy's composition here, they're against a team that is, they're basically fighting this team almost 3 times because you've got to get through CycloneSpin and the healing. Then you've got to get through his meditate too, on PolarBearMike's meditate, I should say. Then you've got to get through PolarBearMike's ultimate as well when you get a target. And most of the time, by that point, Energy have had to consume a lot, but they still managed to battle through.
Oh yeah, we also have to talk about the ult from PolarBearMike, a really good ultimate.
It was.
Really good. But still, they lost the fight. I'm not sure how it went in the other favor, but that is maybe because of adapting's good execution.
Picture perfect engage by iRaffer, locks CycloneSpin directly on top of the Fire Giant pools and the knockup. He gets double knocked up by Geb and then the Fire Giant. But like you mentioned, Trix, the ultimate from PolarBearMike was beautiful, just not quite enough damage from the rest of the team. Oceans wasn't able to put out the necessary damage in that fight. Stealth did a ton, but the Chronos did not.
Oh, the engage there from CycloneSpin after a great route from Mike, and he's looking for Yammyn. Good signs from adapting to slow him down. Ult used by Dimi too. Meanwhile, iRaffer goes down, and now Allegiance holds strong once more.
iRaffer was the sacrificial lamb there, just trying to keep everyone out of the jungle. Adapting and Oceans, the only ones with ult still available. Great hold there.
But that was
nothing off his
members
fire.
as well, Trix. It was 1 route from Mike, and then 2 ultimates from Cyclone and Stealth, and immediately Energy were in trouble.
Right, this is again like CycloneSpin just engaging on him, taking all the aggro. He's taking so much damage in these fights, and meanwhile, Ocean can do whatever he wants to, and MLC Stealth can take his time hitting his spells.
And now they're going to siege down this middle lane. They're all 4 members of NRG do have Fire Giant, so Allegiance still has to be careful.
Oh, you're doing focus on clearing the minion wave here with emilitoo for now, but here we go again. Horsey, don't you stop. Just gonna push them back one more time and take a free tier 2 tower.
But he does get portaled. Big combo on the Dimi, gonna take down about a third of his HP. Cyclone getting pretty low. Meditation is down for PolarBearMike as well as the ultimate. Adapting could have looked for it.
I love that call from Allegiance. You see how they cut left into the Gold Fury? It's not for Gold Fury. They knew adapting went right and was trying to swing round behind. And in the end, they will all just get out, even with a bit of squeaky bum time.
Right, that was so close. Careful with the lazy backs. They're now on the go free, looking for this. They still have the Fire Giant. They can easily do this.
Cyclone does have teleport as well, so even with him backing, that's not a huge block.
Well, PolarBearMike is going to get hit by the portal, but at the same time, emilitoo got hurt pretty bad there as well. He's forced back stealth, so will only hit Dimi, and Dimi will shake that one off.
Dimi is he's just a big lineman right now for NRG. He's sitting in front of everyone, absorbing all these spells with that gigantic shield from Sentinel of Zeus. He's not even worried about it.
He's tanking everything right now, and also it was really good by Allegiance. They didn't fight in the jungle. They was not going to have a good fight. It's better for them just taking the fight in the lane. They won the last fight in the lane, so just keep doing that.
And this game right now is still balanced on a knife edge for me. Either team can still win this one right now, even though NRG have the Fire Giant here. Allegiance can one fight, and this could turn immediately.
Without a doubt, I mean, we're 30 minutes in. The gold lead is about even. Two people coming around the right-hand side. Ocean throws out the stun. Can't find it. Dimi gets pulled back.
Dimi, and Dimi's down. Space inside from Yammyn didn't do anything there as well. The tier 2 tower does fall, but Allegiance is going to push here and look towards iRaffer, who's still alone.
iRaffer's got nowhere to go. Locked in place by MLC Stealth. Pulled back in by PolarBearMike. Nox picks up the kill.
And immediately Cyclone takes to the horse to make sure that adapting is forced to walk defensively away. But what's going on left-hand side, Tricks?
They're gonna push this down. No, they are gonna back. They might be able to be able to save the mid lane here, but Dimi just being too aggressive without his ultimate in that fight, and that's why they lost it.
Well,
yeah, like I said,
team members back actually of Allegiance on the left-hand side. So there's only a few here to try and defend.
Ooh.
And Ocean's got scary low, and there's a Hunter adapting. The rewind will get him safe for a second, but Oceans goes down, and NRG's called to try and switch him about.
And Allegiance is lucky, it didn't went worse. They are everybody so low, so lucky by Allegiance getting out here.
And they didn't even get the Phoenix. Middle Phoenix still standing now for NRG. Fire Giant due to respawn in about 5 seconds. Adapting doesn't want to let Weekend get out, but he doesn't really have a choice. He'll be going back to base.
And you sure can say that Sol is online right now. He has so much damage. You got to be careful. You can't tunnel vision the Phoenix, otherwise he is going to kill everybody.
Yeah, you saw right there. The 2 ult combination just did Ocean's entire health bar. I mean, it was literally one auto attack.
Yep, 40,000 player damage, and the closest to him is his teammate at 23,000 in the mid lane.
emilitoo's just been playing lights out for months by now. I mean, the group stage, he looked phenomenal. Again, it's Super Regionals. Really a player that doesn't get talked about a whole lot because, you know, you got Yammyn and Adapting, but playing absolutely unreal.
15 to 15, the second Fire Giant is available, and NRG are shredding it down. Allegiance have not been able to get close. Fire Giant to the world champs once more, and Allegiance on the defensive again.
But I like that call from Allegiance to just give it up. Yeah, Guan Yu has Wrath, but we already defended one time when they had 5 members of Fire Giant. No reason to try and take a risky fight there. Wait until they're in lane. That's where they've been winning the fights.
But what is Weekend doing in left lane? He should have been there for the fight. They could potentially have done it.
Well, tier 2 tower on the right side will fall down here. The final tower that Allegiance had standing, and now it's just Phoenixes remaining for Allegiance, and they need to hold this. If they lose this game, they are out of the World Championships.
This is about as much pressure as you can possibly feel right now, defending your own Phoenix against the defending world champions NRG.
And NRG is going to take this calm and collected. They know they can still lose the fight. They do respect Allegiance for once now, and so they're just going to play this really seriously.
Because even if they only lose a couple members, Allegiance has enough damage and sustain from Guan Yu that they could absolutely push down, get that middle Phoenix, and end the game.
Dimi's in mid lane here, looking to try and keep some people over that side if he can, and keep an eye on if anyone's hanging around the corner, while iRaffer on the right doing the same sort of thing.
Dimi just pushing up this middle wave, looking to put some pressure on Death Scythe off the mark, looking for weaken with the jump. But Dimi now gonna get focused. Eats the Nemesis ult, already falling very low.
Well, the shield comes into play and he'll walk back to safety. However, you also saw emilitoo use his ultimate there as well, looking for a cheeky play.
Dimi again overextending a little bit. I think they need to group up because the Nemesis is going to look for a one-shot, and whenever he ultimates somebody, you need to be grouped to help that one guy who gets ultimated.
And the one person that should be kind of split off from the team should either be Yammyn or Adapting, because both of them can get into the fight from a distance without being right in front of you. I like the fact that emilitoo is up front, throwing poke out with that stellar burst, but I really think that you're right, Trick. Dimi should be grouping. It should be iRaffer, emilitoo, and Dimi pushing down the lane, and then let Yammyn ult in through space and time.
Exactly, and the reason why NRG is having such a hard time engaging right now is because iRaffer don't have any blink. They don't have any like hard engage, so they can't really find that proper engage. If they had the gap, a blink on gap, that he could have hard engaged, they could have got a lot of damage off, and so people could have gotten to the execution already.
Allegiance have definitely earned some fans here today, though, with the way they've played the second game, for sure. They've got the world champs up against them with a fire giant, and NRG are just kind of sat back here because they can't really force it.
Allegiance is absolutely trading blow for blow with NRG right now, and I think that a lot of people would be surprised to hear that after dropping their game against Latin America, but they've looked very, very strong here today.
Yeah, if they were playing like this yesterday, they would not have been against NRG right now.
Well, let's find out exactly how this is going to go down, because the route from Mike is down there. The boys of NRG grouping up to try and siege this Phoenix. The silence down, but there we go. The cavalry charge once more from CycloneSpin. The ult actually hits two onto Yammyn, but a big shield comes there from iRaffer to slow that down. Cyclone's in a bit of trouble here, but the execute goes through in time, and CycloneSpin is dead. The world champions are moving on.
Weekend not going to be able to get away this time. Sanctuary doesn't matter. Dimi able to pick it up. NRG marching down this right-hand Phoenix.
They get CycloneSpin the one carry of the Allegiance right now. They are easily going to be able to take this Phoenix.
And without CycloneSpin, without the heals available to them, Allegiance are going to lose two Phoenixes. The left one exposed to Stealth. Going to rotate round here to try and defend and make something happen. But NRG just focused on the Phoenix.
Very, very patient play here from NRG. Getting all three Phoenixes.
This ain't patient. This is them looking for the win, it seems. But on the backside, the fight from Oceans and MLC Stealth. They're going to keep trying to defend their title and stay in this. But right now, there was two EU teams that came here right now. But the big difference is there's still two EU teams in the World Championships and only two North American.
Allegiance put up a great fight in game two, just not quite enough to stop the onslaught from NRG. And for me, Trix, it was emilitoo coming up huge on that soul.
Oh yeah, in both games, to be honest, he was really showing up. He did so much damage, but not only that, he dominated the duel lane.
Credit where it's due, though. Allegiance looked absolutely fantastic in that game. That composition they put together, and CycloneSpin, Stealth had great games. Oceans too. Like, they all played their own part in keeping themselves in it, but it just wasn't enough.
I mean, this is a team that just got put together right before Worlds, going up against one of the longest tenured teams in Smite, one of the best teams in the history of Smite. Allegiance looked good there in game two, but like you said, Hindu, just not quite enough.
Well, we get to have our first look at the world champions from last year, and, well, the analysts will probably be able to break it down a little bit better about whether they're as good this year as last time.
All right, well, guys, NRG will take the victory there. Allegiance, it was a valiant effort in game two, but the North American team was not enough for the European powerhouse. Welcome back to the analyst desk here, folks. As we get ready for our last matchup of PC Smite today, this game had a lot of overtones, I think, for the rest of the competition. How well are NRG going to perform at Worlds? Can they make the repeat happen? Will ALG get the upset of the century in Smite? And furthermore, whether or not NRG was as good as they said they are on the world stage. Here we are. I think the question's been answered, at least for right now. They are that damn good.
They're on an 18-game winning streak. The last game that they lost was against Cringe Crew in their group stages. That's remarkable. They're on a 5-LAN winning streak. It's like, who's going to stop NRG at this point in time?
It's so hard to go against them, and we saw that Allegiance that played in that game was the Allegiance that needed to show up yesterday. If they would have played like that yesterday, they wouldn't have been in the situation today in the brackets having to go against NRG. Still putting up an amazing fight, but that's the Allegiance that people thought was going to show up, and if they can't beat them at the top tier, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat NRG.
And they tried to make those adaptations necessary to adapt to NRG's style. They got the knocks just to be able to try to control a lot of space, shut down iRaffer. We saw that they had the Guan Yu, got off to a really great early start for CycloneSpin, and he was making really aggressive plays with his ultimate. And on top of this, we saw that one blunder at the 25-minute mark, that fire giant bait that did not go Team Allegiance's way.
The problem with going against NRG, unlike any other team, is if you make the tiniest itty-bitty little mistake, they are going to capitalize on it and they're going to make you pay for it. They had the Fire Giant for just a little bit too long, too many abilities got off. They were using the Guan Yu heals appropriately, but they came in for the fight, they got the right pickoffs, and NRG took that fight, which allowed them to start the snowball for the rest of the game.
And on top of this, though, they were still slightly in it. They tried to go for that mid-Phoenix push down the mid lane, and then on the left-hand side, though, NRG faked out Allegiance. They had two people over there. They forced CycloneSpin to back off, and then they all collapsed onto Oceans, and that was all she wrote after that point.
There were a couple of mistakes made from NRG in that game. We saw Dimi out of position, getting hit by those Nemesis ults. A couple times he got picked off, which allowed Allegiance to have a surge and come back. We saw the one time where they pushed right back down the mid lane going for a Phoenix, but then Oceans got picked off at the Phoenix, and then all of a sudden NRG is pushing back down again. We saw snowball back and forth a couple times.
And you got to give credit to where credit is due to adapting, because he picked the Thanatos, he was able to counter the Khepri, and I love this mentality and style out of NRG.
Yeah, this squad is showing just a lot of versatility, and they're able to just keep themselves in the action. You said before in the middle of the game, the first 10 minutes, NRG is like, you know, hit or miss, give him a little while, and then they'll rev up the engines. That's exactly what happened toward the end there. And of course, really sniffing out those small opportunities to punish someone for a mistake. And NRG they're the best at doing that. But over at the stage, though, we actually want to hear a little bit more from NRG, and we have iRaffer standing by with Evan. Take it away.
Thanks, Golden Boy. So we got iRaffer here, the Guardian player, and man, just such a support for, literally, for your team moving forward. You know, you are in the semis now. You had a tough road a little bit here, ALG. Probably were expecting to experience Lich there, but they had the surprising win. You find off facing against North America. Team maybe is a little bit more researched on you guys. How'd you go into this matchup?
I mean, we've not really scrimmed that much here, so we was mainly, this is like kind of our warm-up, so hopefully we do better next time.
You have a look on your face, kind of like, you know, right? You just made semis. Is it because you're not happy with how you guys did? You feel you should be doing a little better?
I mean, I'm a bit disappointed in my own performance in that game too. Game one, I was lights out, so it just sucks to end it, really. It felt like a loss for me, just from how I played, but as I said, it was just a warm-up for the team, so we'll take it.
Yeah, there's a lot of time left, and given that, what's your next game plan here? You guys are very back to business. Totally mentioned 5 lands in a row that you've won. Do you expect it to be any different going into these next games?
I mean, we're gonna bring it anyway, hopefully for EU or Obey, because they're. We've created another monster too. they're really good.
Yeah. I know a lot of people said you were the last hope for Europe going into a lot of these things. Obey coming out really strong. Obviously, you're not going to give any strategies away, but feeling confident still that your guys will be ready to go in the next semis?
Hell yeah, dude. We're down.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having you. I don't want to keep you anymore. That's iRaffer, ladies and gentlemen. And we do have a... Can we get a shout out? Yeah, he wants a shout out. All right, so let's do it, man.
I just want to recall PolarBearMike's comment. Rip NA, dude. No? NA sucks. NA sucks, dude.
The trash talk. I can't get away. Can't get away from it. You're in North America, though. You do realize that, right? Because the crowd is...
Am I?
Yeah, it's Atlanta, man.
I've only seen EU winning, so I just thought it was home territory.
Okay. All right. We'll wrap her with some strong words.
I love you all. Everyone here is awesome.
I love you all, though. NA sucks, but I love all of you. Hey, that's what it is, man. That's competitive gaming, right? That's rap.
That's me, dude.
All right, man. Thanks for being upstage. Appreciate it. We got some more important business, too, as well. Raffer, I'm going to escort you this way. We're going to make room for a big dog here. The president of hi-rez Studios, Stu, will be coming out. He's got a few words to say to you guys, so I'm going to toss him the mic and let him do the rest.
Hey, guys, who's having fun? All right. We got 3 out of our 4 semifinalists, so we need to declare some allegiances here. So Who's Team Eager? All right, who's got Obeys back? All right, we're in North America. I'll forgive you, but I know there's a lot of people online that are screaming. And who's got energy? All right, now this next match is North America versus South America. I think it's a biased audience, but who's Luminosity? All right, there's tens of thousands of people online that are rooting for Lick Gaming. I know our South Americans are gonna do well. Who here in the buildings for them? There we go, I love it. All right, there's a little bit of a serious announcement going on. As I mentioned yesterday, there's a severe weather event coming in to the city. Actually, as the day has progressed, the forecasts for that are actually becoming more and more aggressive. And we have recommendations from both the governor of the state and the mayor of the city to advise everyone that after 4 o'clock, like after leaving from here at 4 o'clock, you probably want to avoid being on the roads as much as possible. So our advice is anyone here that drove or is relying on a car to get back to wherever they can sleep really should leave now if you can. If you do not leave, if you have a car here and you do not leave, you may be fine. But there is a scenario where you'll be able to move that car Sunday or Monday out of the arena, okay? So when bad weather happens in Atlanta, no one comes to clean the roads up they'll come and clean a lot of these roads, hopefully, but you'll get to some point in the city trying to get out where you would have wished you had parked here, okay? Because you'll reach some point where you'll just be stuck on the road or you'll be stuck here. So we're advising anyone that's relying on a car to go ahead and leave now. We'll go ahead and play this match. We may have to make a stronger, we may have to move this from an advisement to a critical requirement later in the day that forcing everyone to go ahead and leave early. We are gonna, for the online audience, we are gonna play all of the matches tonight for both Paladins and Smite PC and Smite Xbox. And we will be playing the matches tomorrow and Sunday as well. We are looking, there might be some small schedule adjustments made tomorrow based on what happens. And for the people that are here live, you just need to pay attention to Twitter and Facebook and all the outlets that you normally communicate with us to make sure when it's safe to actually come to the facility tomorrow. So who here is actually hoping for a storm so you can just cuddle up and drink a little tonight? All right, there's positives and negatives, I understand. Okay, let's get back to hi-rez Amanda. I think she's in the ballroom.
Hi, I'm here on the expo hall at the Smite Tactics booth with the Tactics lead designer, Scott Gandhi. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Minus the fact that, you know, Stu just delivered the crippling news of the snow's coming and there's nothing we can do. Other than that, it's great.
I mean, I'm from Canada, so it's like a little bit of snow.
The weird thing is that, you know, I'm from Virginia and my truck is 4x4, and the last Snowmageddon, I think is what they called it here in Atlanta, I was like, oh, dude, I'll be fine. And I went straight down the road and there was just it looked like a zombie apocalypse of just cars on the side of the road, and it was abandoned. So yeah, I'm not messing with it either.
Yeah, everybody be safe. But talking about Smite Tactics, you guys had some exciting announcements this week. Closed beta, what's that been like?
So far, closed beta has been really awesome. You know, I think it's when people come in, there's a lot to take in, and luckily, you know, we set up the tutorial 2 weeks ago, and we have a lot of campaign missions. So I think what I look forward to the most is hearing what everyone likes the best and what parts, especially balance-wise, you know, that we should kind of take a look at.
Awesome, awesome. And then you guys have also announced the Founders Pack. Can you explain a little bit about that for people who missed that announcement?
Yeah, so basically what the Founders Pack is going to give you is it's going to give you 15 packs of cards, and then it's going to unlock 3 Legendary Leaders and the Legendary God Enya, which is the Greek version of Bologna. Now, you know, it's exciting when we did that because a lot of people have always been like, why don't we just do the Greek versions and the Roman versions of all the gods? And early on, Scott Sear was like, no. We either do one or the other. And now that we finally got to break that mold, it felt good.
Yeah. No, she looks so cool. And then you also get to unlock her in Smite, which is really awesome. She's a Bologna skin.
Are you going to cosplay as her? That's the real question.
Every Bologna skin, I'm like, I have to cosplay it.
You're like, well, I'm a brunette, so I got to do it.
But like, what has it been like designing the game? You guys have taken Smite, which people know and love, and kind of are, you know, putting it into a new context, a new gameplay. How's that been? You know,
I think it's kind of two parts there, right? One, since Smite has the success that it has and it has the diehard fans, I mean, we see it here in the convention, the cosplayers, everything else. You know, when I stepped into it, it was like, well, you know, there's a lot to live up to, right? We have to make sure that this game is as good, the best it possibly can be. And, you know, luckily for me, I have Scott Sear. And Scott Sear has been a part of this company for 10 years. In fact, he's actually going to be accepting like his 10-year anniversary this weekend whenever we do that ceremony. And, you know, he's been like a fantastic mentor throughout the entire design process. So without him, you know, it wouldn't be here.
Awesome, awesome. Now, do you have any spoils for us as lead designer? Maybe what stuff's coming?
Yes, I do. So if you are in the closed beta and you're wondering, you know, why do you guys only have 3 Pantheons? And what's your guys' plans for Pantheons as we move forward? So obviously right now, 3 Pantheons is only temporary. The next thing that we're going to be looking at doing is Chinese. The Chinese Pantheon will be the next one. And really, when we looked at this one, you know, there's kind of a couple big things that I wanted to hit. The entire Pantheon is going to be based on the story of Pengu. I'm sure I'm not saying that super correctly, but so basically what he did was he pushed yin and yang from each other and separated the heavens from the earth. So you're going to see a lot of growth and a lot of new mechanics coming in with the Chinese Pantheon.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you're here at the event, you can come check out Tactics here in the ballroom. But if you're online, make sure you sign up for the closed beta. You can check out the Founders Pack. And we're going to go to a short break right now.